guest, Sarah Ellingworth, is a profound and naturally gifted energy healer and psychic. She passionately embodies and shares her own healing journey, offering support and guidance, holding the light for others on the path of self-healing. Sarah has extensively studied esoteric teachings through numerous international mystery schools over the last 17 years. The last 3 years, Sarah dedicated her studies with spiritual acceleration and mentoring with Bonnie Serratore. This has had an exponential impact on her scope and capacity as a powerful and innovative energy healer. Through her refined skills of high-frequency channeling and divine connection, Sarah will track in clear frequencies and foreign interferences which are keeping you stuck, limited, or playing small. With an innate ability to compassionately cut to the core of the issue, Sarah will help you clear the misconceptions, embrace the learning, and provide divine guidance as you navigate your way forward on your path to self-mastery and reclaiming your divine sovereignty. As the lead accelerator with Spiritual Acceleration, Sarah is teaching Intuitive You and the foundation courses in 2024. Intuitive You is a 6-week psychic development course, and the 10-month Foundations program is being offered in Australia for the first time ever, with Sarah leading the way. This transformative course will revolutionize the way you show up in a healing capacity, with the depth and expansion it offers for personal healing and the tools and techniques that Bonnie Serratore, who founded spiritualacceleration.com, has created to achieve real breakthroughs on the quest for true liberation. So welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. Really beautiful intro. Thank you for having me.
Oh, we're very happy you're here. Let's just ask Sarah a few questions about her background. So Sarah, how did you become a professional energy worker?
With a lot of resistance. I was working on myself for a very long time, just doing my own inner work and healing, and I definitely could feel the push from the divine to head in that direction, but I really was just at that point quite invested in working on myself, and the more that I did, the more passionate I became, and in the end it was just something I sort of resigned to. It was just a natural progression of the work that I was doing to help other people do the same thing. And yeah, and I mean I really do love teaching, so I would say it's an extension through each individual session as well as group sessions and teachings and courses. It's just a constant extension of everything that I've learned and sharing that with others so that they can incorporate whatever it is that works with them or what they resonate from what I'm offering to apply to their own healing journey and growth and learning. So there was a lot of resistance from me to get to that point. And even now, coming into, once I came across Bonnie's work, that just up-leveled everything that I was doing so much. But then I had to really dig deep and look at why I was scared of being seen and owning my power and, doing all the things that I was doing, but I was sort of doing it quite hidden, in a very hidden way. So now the last few years I've really been focusing on stepping up to the plate, being seen, helping more people, and ultimately that's really what it's about, is reaching more people and helping more people. And I just had to get on with the job.
Wonderful. And from what I can tell from things Bonnie has said, the journey you're talking about getting out of your own way and being willing to be seen, etc. There are all these blocks that everybody has, including people who become energy workers and energy healers. So, I mean, it seems to be part of the spiritual acceleration training for people to work through those things, not to deny them.
Absolutely. And, really, I think it doesn't even have to be in a spiritual concept. It's anyone who's owning or learning to own their power and to really step up and shine in their sovereign divinity and even just reclaiming their sovereign divinity, but owning their life, owning their light. We have been through so much trauma, whether it's this lifetime or previous lifetimes. Every experience we have, we hold on to that like it just is another piece that gets chucked into the bag that we're carrying around. And so when we come into this lifetime and we're playing small, and we might not always understand why, but we know we just want to shrink ourselves because of fear, wherever that fear is coming from. The teachings, Bonnie's teachings and the courses, it will help you to cut through so much of why we're keeping ourselves small. Like the techniques can really just chop out a big chunk where I was sort of chipping away at it for years and sort of staying in my comfort zone, I guess, with what I was prepared to look at and work on. Yeah, Bonnie's teaching sort of gave me those next level skills, those next level tools to really get to the core of the issue. And a lot of the time, especially for, you know, spiritual teachers or light workers or anyone in the spiritual community who's wanting to work in this capacity, a lot of the time it can be, you know, we've been killed, tortured, traumatized, prosecuted for just being ourselves, for owning our gifts and our power and shining our light, and that hasn't gone so well.
Yes. Yes.
So the trauma from that immediately shuts everything down on a soul level. Continue to incarnate in order to work through those wounds. So yeah, it was a real blessing and a real gift to come across Bonnie's work, and that definitely shifted the dial on a lot of things for me, which I'm super grateful for. But then it's also a real honor to be able to help teach and share that with other people as well.
Yeah, that's the truth, isn't it? I don't know anybody in energy work who hasn't been persecuted in other lives and sometimes killed, including myself. And that's just seems to be the deal. We came in to finally heal that, you know?
Absolutely. Wonderful. And, you know, we're really bucking the trend.
Yeah.
You know, where the whole en masse, you know, everyone's being taught to be disconnected or isolated or separated from themselves and from others. And spirituality is the opposite of that. And owning your power and owning your light and your sovereign divinity, that's all about knowing who you are. That's connection to yourself, connection to source. It's the opposite. So we do definitely buck the trend in, you know, the narrative of what's being shared out there with everybody. And that's part of our job as well. That's, you know, it's waking up. It's holding the light for other people to find their way back to themselves. So, you know, when you've got a light in the midst of all the darkness, that can attract different types of attention. And yeah, I think that's where the courage and the strength to be who you are and know that, like, regardless of what you're coming up against, that just helps solidify it even more, your level of truth.
So self-empowerment plays a pretty big part in terms of in your work and in your philosophy for healing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, that's even just helping people coming out of victim consciousness and taking responsibility for their thoughts and their feelings and their choices and how they're showing up in life. And regardless of what situation you find yourself in, how you react, that's all you. That is all you. So when people start to realize that they have choices and it's okay that whatever choices they've made in the past, if they're not happy with that or that hasn't worked out for them, that's okay. It was just part of the learning. But then we can choose something else as well. So it's sort of, you just sort of guiding them to go, this is all you, and taking responsibility for that, and the compassion and the forgiveness that comes with that. These are all nice, soft, fluffy sounding words, but there's actually the courage and the strength and sometimes the hardship that people can go through in order to get to that point. It can be hard work. So it's very confronting when you're coming out of consciousness or that mind state and into empowerment, because there's a lot you need to take responsibility for. And the other thing too is that I'm not doing the work for you. Like, I'm helping you, and I can clear the path and clear a lot of the interferences and the obstacles and things that have surrounded you to keep you locked in. But then once you've got that space, you're the one that needs to then start moving and making choices and taking action. And that's all on the individual. So again, I think there's a lot of, I don't want to say fluffy talk, but there's a lot of, you know, all the light and love around spiritual healing and energy healing. But I love the shadow work, because this is where you can get some of the biggest shifts within yourself to have more peace and more light, more compassion, more love for yourself and therefore others. But the healing journey There's nothing fluffy about it. It can be pretty hardcore.
That word shadow work, let me jump in and just say the shadow work idea, that phrase. What is that to you? Is it the parts of us that are so traumatized we've just buried them under? Or maybe dark force interference? How do you see it?
Yeah, look, I think shadow work is just a bit of an umbrella term for all of that. It can be the side of our personality, ego, character traits that we deem unacceptable, or the parts of ourselves that we think are unlovable, the self-hatred that a lot of people can hold for themselves. Like, there's a lot of frequencies that people hold and they have just no idea that exists. It can also be, the trauma, the abuse, all of the hard stuff, all of the stuff that we don't really want to look at, all of, the trauma and abuse. A lot of people use addictions to disassociate from those feelings. And even working through addictions, that all comes under shadow work as well. It's just, for me, that is just a very broad term for anything that we deem unacceptable about ourselves or unlovable. And the truth is, it actually needs love. Like, it needs the light, and it needs love, and it needs acceptance and understanding. Because when we step into that space and we own it and we embrace it and we learn to integrate it into our whole being, everything just opens up, and we realize there's so much more of us to love, and that's all it was wanting in the beginning. And if we didn't get that from somewhere else at a pivotal point when that interaction or that trauma occurred, we can now go back in at this point in our evolution or part of our journey and go back and provide the love that we didn't get, that we were needing from people around us or outside of us at the time. So this is another aspect of learning the self-love and doing the inner work, or doing inner child healing, trauma healing. So all of that, to me, it's just another word for doing the hard stuff. But that it's a nice way of sort of, all the things that we sort of shove in the dark that we don't really want to look at.
So, but a lot of that is hiding in the subconscious. Now, I'll give you an example. Say if a client came to you and said, I don't know what goes on, but I'm still afraid of the dark. I've been afraid of the dark since I was a little kid. And sometimes after I shut off the light to go to sleep at night, if I hear anything I think is going on, any creak, any door, or floorboard creaking, I am convinced they're evil ETs or a ghost. How would you proceed with that?
Yeah, there's a few different layers to that. There will be a huge part of it in this subconsciousness, but then we've got all the interferences that perpetuate those feelings. So this was a huge eye-opener for me going into Bonnie's work, understanding on a deeper level the interferences that we have through dark force or entities or discarnates. And it's usually the piece that I start a healing with on a client, because it just sort of gets rid of all of the extra noise. And when I say that, it means, like, as an example, if you came to me and said, I'm really scared of the dark, I hate being at home at night on my own, any little bump, I freak out and I think that someone's there, then we would look at the fear of darkness, like actually being, we don't have that sort of same. Or if you came to me and said, during the day, it's perfectly fine, but of an evening when I can't see, I get really scared. So working on the frequencies of fear of the unknown, fear of being alone, fear of being attacked, those sorts of things, and clearing out the entities, the discarnates, the dark force interferences that are perpetuating those feelings. So that what they actually do is they blow it out. They actually want to stimulate you or trigger you so that you do feel that, and it perpetuates it even more, like it blows it right up. So you become overwhelmed by these emotions, these fears, and that's like food for them. It's juice. So they want more of it, and that's what they want. So even with certain, I've had plenty of healings or clients where the issue has gotten worse, but right before they have their session with me. And that is because they're trying to, one, interfere with the process so that if there's any slight chance of the healing not going ahead, that's what they would love, but also to generate more of the energy that they know is about to be taken away. So then that's like, we just clear all of that, all of those interferences, anything that's lodged in your being that is hooking into or embedding those frequencies, that's the first thing that goes. And then what's left is where we work on whether it's soul trauma or whether it's an interaction you've had in this lifetime or past lives where you have created a fear of being abandoned or alone or in the dark, scared of the unknown. We work on those frequencies through the subconsciousness. And for me, it's like we're clearing out those frequencies that are then embedded in your being. So where it's embedded in your mental body and your emotional body, pulling out any thoughts, attachments, addictions to those frequencies, those habits, and clearing that right out. So then you're left with space. You're left with space within your being to choose something else. And so this is where the empowerment piece comes in. So I've just cleared all the interferences and all the things that are getting in your way. And then we talk about what it is that you would like to create for yourself. So then we look at, in the healing piece is done, you're cleared. So then we bring in more of you, more of your light, more of your power, connecting into your heart's space. But I would also work on your base chakra and your sacral and your solar plexus to really strengthen your courage, your resilience, trusting in yourself, trusting in the divine, that you are safe in your home, you are safe on this planet, all that sort of stuff. And then I actually give a lot of, so most of my clients all get homework, and to support the subconsciousness, I actually will send them links to meditations that have subliminal programming in it. So as an example for that one, I look at the feeling safe. I'm safe and I'm grounded. I'm safe in my body. I'm safe in my home. I'm safe, with the divine. And it gives you a sense of, does a bit of an up-leveling in the subconscious mind, but it helps, again, with the space that we've just created. You can then go, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm safe. I know that I'm safe in my home. Everything's locked, I can relax. And so you start to change the narrative that you tell yourself. Or if you do hear a creak, you're like, oh, it's just a little bird. Look, there's the bird, it's fine. So instead of psyching yourself out or getting caught up in those dark emotions, you have the space within yourself to go, I'm all good, it's okay. Go and check the window. Oh, there's a little cat outside. I'm all good, it's no stress. So it gives you a sense of freedom in your mental and emotional body, freedom in what you're creating for yourself on a daily basis, coming out of addictions and habits that keep you stuck, small, in fear, whatever that is. And tools that you'll take away with tools that you can use on a daily basis, to help you choose whatever it is that you're wanting to work on. So fears and addictions are definitely two very common issues that people come to me with. When it comes to like the topic of what we're just talking about, like depression and anxiety is another big one as well, because that just keeps people feeling really stuck and unable to make more positive or healthier choices. But the same sort of approach can work. Every session is completely unique, and the approach will always be tailored to what the person needs. But that sort of what I've just described is a general basis of what people would receive.
That is so great that you're going into the core of where the issue is, and you're looking in psychically, you're tracking, what Bonnie calls tracking. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And so I will always try to guide the recipient through their emotional body to find it on their own, but not everybody can do that, again, because we can be very disconnected to our feelings, or we can be very disconnected to who we are and the experiences that we're having. So I will quite often see all the layers underneath coming up. I'll always be guided by spirit in every session. Everything is channeled. So they'll basically give the go ahead on whether I can just shift this stuff for them, or whether I really need to consciously bring them on that journey into that space for them to really own how they felt, make that connection into that memory or the feeling or the sensation, so that it's like roots and all that's coming out. So again, it's tailored to whatever the individual needs.
We mentioned dark force interference. How do you handle that kind of interference or entity removal when you're in a session?
I particularly love working with the dark. I don't know if I'm just a bit weird in that way. I really had a strong resonance with it from the get-go, but I also had a lot of fear with it, which everyone does. And so it was a really interesting journey and it was a good 12-month journey. of learning how to work with the dark and show up in that space where because you really need to own your power. You really need to, without a shadow of doubt, be embodying your light to hold yourself against those types of frequencies. But you have to also do it with deep respect. And, I have a huge team, and all the Ascended Masters and Archangels and all the big guns, like they're all very much part of my team. So I almost want to say it's a bit of relationship building as well. Like, as you learn to work with the dark forces, there's no way, I just never would do any of it on my own as such. I mean, I don't anyway, any of it. Yeah, I think great strength and a lot of respect. And I show up in any healing, and it's always a huge honor to be helping the person, the recipient of the person. But then you go into completely different dimensions of time and space, working with different beings, and they're not all very friendly. So it's fascinating. It really is fascinating. But I'm under no illusion that I'm doing it on my own, or that it's just me making that command, if that makes sense. It's utilizing a whole team of beings that are prepared to show up in that way with a lot of love and a lot of respect, and a lot of strength. You have to completely own your light or you're toast.
That's something. When you say you have to have respect, you mean for the fact that you're not going to be automatically more powerful with everything that you meet up with in the dark realms? Do you go into the lower realms? I know, like David does,
Yes.
and probably Michael does.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Ultimately, you'll go wherever you need to go for the healing.
Yes.
So, yeah, nothing's off limits. When I say respect, it's like if you were to get into a really fast car and you were like, and you thrashed it around, the car would eventually have its way with you. Like, the power of the car, if you didn't treat the car with respect, you would trip yourself up.
Yes.
So it's the same sort of thing when you go into the space of these beings and, evil consciousness and, some pretty epic frequencies. You go in there with respect for what you're doing, and it's like you need to go in with all of your light, all of your power, but there's no ego. There is literally no ego. You can't, because the second you have that, then they can interfere and mess with you because you're vulnerable, you're exposed. So that's where it's like the love, deep love, respect, and full strength. And you're in your alignment with your God self and the God frequency, because there is nothing more powerful than that. So, but you're not going in there to show them who's boss. It's not that sense. It's not like that, if that makes sense. You can't go in with an ego.
Those are excellent points, all of them. Do you know, Sarah, I'm wondering, could you do a clearing for frequencies related to anxiety, depression, trauma, pick one or all of that? For our
Let's do
audience.
anxiety. Let's do anxiety, because it is a really popular, when I say popular, it's a very common one, I should say. And anxiety is really just disempowering you to go into what the issue is. So it's a bit of it's a surface level thing. So yeah, let's do a bit of a clearing on anxiety.
Okay.
So for everyone that's listening, just bring your awareness to your breath, taking in a long, slow, deep breath in through the nose, feeling your belly rise on the inhalation, and gently hold at the top of the breath, and breathing out through your mouth. A slow, gentle exhalation with a gentle hold at the bottom of the breath. And just to repeat that breath cycle, I'm going to bring in the white flame, bringing in the light of God, light of home, connecting into Mother Earth and expanding that light out. And we're going to call in all discarnates hooking into the frequency of anxiety. Coming forward, everybody waking up. All discarnates of anxiety hooking into anxiety. Everybody looking up. Loved ones, Ascended Masters, Archangels, escort these beings home to the light. Everybody looking up. All the way through. All discarnates. Everybody wake it. Not your body. Come on, looking up. You're bringing in the white flame, amping it up, brighter, 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 bringing the opalescent karmic flame, more intense, brighter, 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 all the way through all levels of their being, throughout all levels of time, space, dimensions, and realities, amping that up. All entities hooking into the frequency of anxiety, get into the white flame now, freeze. Smaller, pull it in. All contracts, oaths, vows, and agreements, keeping these frequencies lodged within their being, release. Brighter, remaining frequencies, entities, seen, unseen, and unknown, detected, undetected, hidden in plain sight, into the white flame now, freeze. Smaller. All the way through. Okay. Bringing in the white flame all the way through all aspects of their being, brighter, amp out, brighter, all levels of their consciousness, subconsciousness, unconsciousness, lighting that up all the way through, brighter. Okay, all dark force interferences, dark lords, demonic beings hooking into anxiety, the state of powerlessness, feeling overwhelmed, anxiety, shutting down, disconnected, unable to breathe, all discards, all entities, all dark force interferences hooking to the frequencies identified of anxiety, get into the white flame now, freeze. Smaller, freeze. Pull it in. All contracts, oaths, vows, and agreements, keeping these frequencies lodged within their being, release, all the way up. Thank you. Is that one not letting go? I give that one to always. Thank you, all the way over. Thank you. Okay, spitting it out, 11/10 the speed of light. Spitting it through the emotional body, the mental body, the physical body, the spiritual bodies. 9/10 the speed of light, faster, bringing in the white flame, amping that right up. Brighter. All remaining thoughts, feelings, attachments, hooks, cords, addictions to anxiety, thought entities, elementals, contracts, oaths, vows, and agreements, release. Spinning it out, 11/10 the speed of light, more intense. Spinning it out, faster. We're ramping up that white flame, bringing in the opalescent karmic flame through the endocrine system, the nervous system, pulling that out. Through the solar plexus, including all dirty red energy through the solar plexus, looking into the anxiety, release. Spinning it out, faster, all the way through to the base, the sacral base. Your remaining frequencies, hooks, cords, attachments, any weaponry lodged within the frequency of anxiety, release. Bring that out, show me any implants, devices, mechanisms, activators. Lighting that up through the nervous system, through the brain, lighting that up, brighter, more intense, all contracts, oaths, vows, and agreements, keeping these frequencies lodged within their being, brighter. We've got, who is this? The Arcturians showing up. Knowledge you needed that. What is this? We've got a hook, release. All cords, attachments, and addictions through the back of the head, anxiety, all implants, devices, mechanisms, activators, release, including all contracts, oaths, vows, and agreements, release. Brighter. All agreements to disempower, relinquish power, release through the spine, through the back and neck. Thank you. Release. All thoughts, feelings, addictions to I'm not good enough. Lacking confidence, self-esteem, release. Thank you. Release. Spinning that out, faster. ramping up the light flame, more intense, burn, all the way through, all the way through. More residual emotions through the back sacral, hooking into the anxiety associated with the anxiety, the frequency and match of the anxiety, release, release, release. We're good, spinning that out, intense spin of light, more intense, spinning it out, spinning it out, spinning it out, close attachments. Remaining through the legs, the base, trigger points. Spinning it out, spinning it out, spinning it out. We're bringing connection into the seventh plane of consciousness all the way through, connecting into divinity, coming through being all the way into the earth, into and spreading that light out. And just taking in now a big deep breath, bringing in your God self, your higher self, your sovereign divinity, pouring in through the crown, flooding into your brain, the left and right of your brain, coming into your forehead, your pineal, coming through the front and back. With your forehead, your back head, dropping down through your mouth, through your throat, through your neck. Feeling that downpour of light and the Christ coding coming in through every cellular, every molecule of your being. Breathing it in as it integrates more peace, more light, more love. Coming in through the arms, through the chest, coming in through the lungs, your waist, your organs, your digestive system, your liver, your pancreas, your gallbladder, feeling all of your organs absorbing this light, feeling into the sense of peace and wholeness, the truth of who you are, anchoring in further and further, deeper and deeper into your whole being, coming in through your waist, your digestive system, your hips, coming through the pelvis, going down through the legs, through the skeletal, the whole skeletal system, and down through your legs, your ankles, and your feet. Now letting that light just drop out through your feet. And your next exhalation, breathing that light out into Mother Earth, into the core of Mother Earth, allowing that light, the divinity, to just expand out into all directions of time and space. You can bless Mother Earth, extending that light, that love, into her body as you own your space on this planet. You embody your whole being with the truth of who you are. Your love, your light, your power. And spin that out, normalize, balance, stabilize, and harmonize the whole being. The mental body, the emotional body, the physical body, the spiritual bodies, all of the higher bodies, all of the organs, the blood, including this chakral system, normalize, balance, stabilize, and harmonize. Okay, when you're ready, just taking in a few big deep breaths. Come wriggle your fingers and toes, coming back into your body, bringing your awareness behind your eyes. And just rejoining the group when you're ready.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sarah.
My absolute pleasure.
Oh, really powerful.
And what can be embedded into us just through our DNA that can influence us, it's not ours. Like it's not ours to carry. But people just have no idea. And that's, to me, that's still interference. It's interference of the truth of who you are and embodying your truth in this incarnation. And, you know, I sort of got to the point where I was like, well, that has no business here. Thanks, but no thanks. And that has to go. So, you know, and that's a big part of that whole empath journey and getting clearing boundaries. Like, you know, I really struggled being an empath for a long time, and it's a very confusing journey. And I got to the point where I was like, no, I'm not carrying that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that for you. That's yours to do. I'll do me, you do you. Boundaries. No, I'm not carrying that. I'm not embodying that. Like it was just a hard no.
Very good.
So this work really helps clean that up. It's very empowering.
So when people decide to book a session with you, would they say, if it were a 45-minute session, would they have, say, 3 or 4 issues or questions to bring up, and then you work with them on it energetically?
Yeah, so Some people can come with just one issue, and some people have a list as long as their arm. And we really start with whatever's the most sort of intrusive issue that's consuming you the most, so that we can sort of get the most space back within you. And it really just depends on how the session unfolds as to how much we can get through, but obviously we always want to get through as much as possible. And some things overlap as well, so particularly if you've got certain themes that are all sort of tied up in a particular past life issue or interaction or wounding, and that's where we can actually get a few things done all together at once when they're really prepared to go there within themselves. So I can't make anyone do anything they're not prepared to do, and I can certainly cut through a lot of stuff, but they need to be able to come on that journey. So it's really up to the individual how much they get out of the session. But yeah, I mean, bring it all, bring everything, and we'll just see how much we can get through. Absolutely.
If anyone's interested in working with Sarah, you're still working through spiritualacceleration.com, isn't that right?
Just jump on the website, on the Spiritual Acceleration website.
Exactly. And under the shop, you'll see sessions. And then under that, you'll see accelerators. And you can see that Sarah's work is mind-blowing. So great to have you on, Sarah.
So thank you.
What a beautiful gift you have. Thank you so much for that beautiful clearing. And just keep doing what you do. The world so needs it. Huge blessings. Thank you again. And I hope you'll come back.
Thank you. Yes, definitely. Would love to.